Just a second. Like, share, subscribe. I got to send this link. 1 second. Woo, it is hot in here. Hold on 1 second. It's so hot in here. Let me turn this heat off. All right. Hi, welcome to the channel. Okay, let's get into this. All right, so I'm finally learning. Like, share, subscribe to the video. I do tarot readings. I'm not doing that right now until I finish my homework. So tonight I started to learn that I was having trouble retaining information. Hi, Bill Meyer. Good evening. I was having trouble retaining the information that I was actually reading. Okay, like on a piece of paper. Yeah, I know, like awful. I'm just healing right now. So it says, I'm gonna read y'all this story, okay? And I have my dictionary. I have my Webster's dictionary. If I have any further, I got allergies really bad. We will look into the definition if we need it. Okay, so what I learned today, I got my HUD application in the mail for my housing. I had to mail that back to the Randall Sims building in order to get it. And I had to break this seal off my envelope to send it back through the United States Postal Office. And I got back on my receipt here. I opened up a portal at the gym and United States Post Office. Ooh, yay, we got money. Oh, can't lose this nickel, okay, because this is important, the year. Hello, yeah, okay, so the nickel that the United States Post Office gave me back, actually, when you first look at it, when the head is up, you would assume it says the year 1661. All right, but you have to kind of turn the head to look at it, and oh, it's 1991. Okay, on this nickel that I received back from the United States Post Office here. So I opened the portal at the gym. The portal is going to be the circle, okay? That's the circle. So I opened the portal there. The year is actually 1991. It's not 1661 like you would think. But if you first read it like this, I can do a tarot reading after my discussion. Well, I have to wait about 48 days before I do one, because I'm trying to understand certain things because I wasn't retaining the information that I was reading. So you would think that this year says 1661, right? But you have to kind of turn the head at a slight angle to see it's 1991 was the year that I got back from the 95 cents that I spent to mail back my HUD application for these services here at this Panhandle Community Services. Okay, so I'm doing my due diligence. I did not know this is how this worked. So when I broke the seal at the college to take my exam to know what I want to do in life, I went up there to take my exam and I could not retain the information I was actually visually reading. And I understood why, okay? And that's because a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Picture is worth 1,000 words. All right. So when I had my mouse clicker and I was reading the question, I was getting it was out of focus for me, because between the mother and the father, which would be the spacer in the middle, okay, and here's your, well, I think I drew a picture on the back. Here's the mouse right here. The mouse, you can click on it to go scroll up or down, and in the middle you have the space in between. So I couldn't retain the information because there was something blocked where I had to actually take a mouse and click the triangle up or the triangle down to actually understand in between the space. Does it make sense? I hope I'm making sense. So here's the picture that I'm drawing for y'all. It says, okay, so here's sentence 1. As if to remind them of her own humble beginnings. Okay, so as if to remind someone of her, because this person that's doing something, her own humble beginnings. Every Christmas, Emily gave Margaret, I don't know who Margaret is, I don't know who Kenneth is, okay? So every Christmas, Emily gave Margaret and Kenneth a framed picture of another forgotten branch, and I'm guessing a branch. What is a branch? A branch would be like a bank, okay? Of a forgotten bank of the family, okay? So every Christmas, she would give them a framed picture to this Margaret and Kenneth, a forgotten branch of the family. So this is a family bank, all right? And if these gifts, so this is a gift, and if these gifts were initially met with an indifference in between that, okay? So if this gift were initially met with an indifference, that was fine. Okay, so that was fine. If you don't want the gift, that's fine, is what this is saying, basically. Okay, so who's Margaret and Kenneth? I'm assuming this is a forgotten, hey, you forgot this, is what this is saying. So you got to go and get it back through the post office. Okay, so sentence 2. Emily had conceived, so she actually conceived, she gave birth, or she conceived. It didn't say she gave birth, it just says she received it. So she conceived this, of this as a long-term, I'm sorry, there's a car passing by, as a long-term project. Lord Jesus, thank you, Emily. So she conceived this as a long-term project, one that might take their entire lives to finally resonate. Okay, so in order for it to resonate finally, it had with her. So what the picture meant to her. Okay, and she's considering their entire lives. Okay, so but if they didn't want the gift, that was fine, is what this is saying. Okay, so but for it to finally resonate for everybody, for their entire lives to finally resonate as it had with her, what it meant for her to have that gift. Okay, so what does it mean to you to have a gift? Okay, sentence 3. She'd come to appreciate her Kersey, Kersey. What does Kersey mean? I just looked this up. We don't know what Kersey, what does Kersey mean? What does Kersey mean? Let's see, let's get to Kersey. Kersey, K, C, A, B, C, F, G, H, I, J, K, Kersey. Kersey. Killer, no. Okay. Kersey means Kersey is not actually even in the Webster's dictionary. There's kerchief, which is a kerchief is kerchiefs, to cover, a chief head, a square of cloth worn by. Sorry, I have to cover my head to do this. Okay, so is a A square cloth, okay, worn by women, especially as a head covering, a handkerchief. I need to cover my head, probably. May cover my head. So, 1 second. I have to cover my head because I didn't know I was the chief. 1 second. Okay. So, all right, I had to cover my head. So it says, you guys, we're just going with the flow of this because these things we did not know, and now we know. All right. So that is what a kerchief is. So this would be someone who's very cold, okay? A cloth worn by women as a head covering, a handkerchief. Okay? So saw a cutting torch. All right, so a cutting torch too. All right, so let's get into this. I had to do my head covering. That's the kersey. So this would be someone who's cold. All right, this is like a ribbed cloth, I'm guessing. So it's cut from a ribbed cloth, a kersey upbringing. So this is a cloth, an upbringing only well after she'd fled the town and made the long wished for transformation into a fashionable city dweller. Okay, so she had to take off her head covering to become a fashionable city dweller. Okay, city dweller. Okay, not that her teenage estimation. So not that her teenage estimation of the place had been wrong. It was even worse now. A dying Appalachian would be backwater, which would be a frozen river. Okay, that's what that means. It's a frozen river. But looking back, she saw that like Margaret, it doesn't say Kenneth, it just says like Margaret, she'd been an ungrateful child, stubborn and arrogant to no real, and this is where my vision kept getting blurry because it's in between the mother and the father, in between Kenneth and Margaret. Okay, so like Margaret, she'd been an ungrateful child, stubborn and arrogant to no real purpose beyond her own vanity. Make sense now? So there is a frozen water or river now. Looking back, so this is the branch. That would be the river, the branch. That would be like the vein, the flow of her family lineage, right? So it's frozen. So something got frozen there. All right, because she was an ungrateful child, stubborn and arrogant to no real purpose beyond her own vanity. That's why nothing would flow through for her to drink. All right. At the dining room table, so there's the dining room table. So at the dining room table, as she scavenged through, so she was scavenging, okay? She was hungry. She's at the dining room table. As she scavenged through her mother's loose black and white snapshots, okay, with their quaintly pinked edges. So these are old snapshots, okay, with pink edges. The month and year neatly machine stamped in all 4 margins, okay? So this is something a machine would print out for you. She found photos of herself standing with her arms crossed on a dock or leaning against the fender of the Plymouth. Okay, so that would be like a rocky area of a fender of a Plymouth. Oh, or sitting on their back steps eating an apple. Always with a slightly fiery scowl. Like, so I guess you could just see her scowl. Like, fiery scowl, okay? She's eating an apple. So this is someone with some really thick eyebrows. All right? Sitting on their back steps eating an apple. Always with a slightly fiery scowl, as if she'd specifically asked not to have her picture taken. So this is someone who's mad about having their photograph taken. So they have thick eyebrows. They're mad about having their picture taken. As a child, she'd been emotional, a crier, a brooder, a showy thrower of tantrums. So this is someone who's throwing tantrums, okay? All right, here's sentence 7 or age 7, whatever you would like to know. Once she'd begun, sorry, y'all had to cover my head. Okay, so once she'd begun, she could not be appeased. So once things had begun, there was no appeasing this woman with these thick eyebrows scowling, okay? She could not be appeased. Once she'd begun, she could not be appeased. Why her mother pleaded. Did she have to be that way? Oh, why her mother pleaded. Did she have to be that way? There was no good answer. All right, age 10 or sentence 10. It was just the way she was. So by 10, she embraced it. It's just the way she was. All right, age 11 or sentence 11, it says difficult. 11, things got difficult. Age 12, she was touchy. Age 13 or sentence 13, she was mean. Mean by 13. 14, her relatives blamed it on her being an only child. Ah, now I can see. That's why I wrote myself a mental note there. Ah, now I can see. She blamed it on her being an only child, spoiled from too much attention. Okay, so this is somebody who did not know that this could be someone on a different timeline who did not know that they were an only child. This is where the mother and the father is important to know who that is. Okay, so if you're disconnected or you grow up thinking that's your father, this is my father, or you're just the third twin of the Pentagon, you don't know. Okay, so if y'all have read that book, it's called The Third Twin. You should read it. It's pretty good. It's got a picture of the Pentagon on the outside of it. Really good book. Read it in prison. Really good book. All right. Anyways, it says spoiled from too much attention. Okay, so she's an only child. She didn't know she was an only child. All right, she was like a third twin. Spoiled from too much attention. Age 15. Her father tried to turn it into a joke. Okay, so she doesn't know really who her father is, really. But her father tried to turn it into a joke because he didn't know, right? So he would turn it into a joke because he didn't know the answer. So by age 16, Little Miss Moody Patootie. Okay, so now she's Miss Moody Patootie. That's where we get our conundrums from, all right? Or sayings. Little Miss Moody Patootie, all right, at age 16. And so you would just brush it off because that's something we'll figure out later down the road, right? Hey, your mommy bee. All right, so Little Miss Moody Patootie. So 17, Don't look at her cross-eyed. Don't look at her cross-eyed. Age 18. Wait till you have kids of your own, her mother threatened. As if Emily would pass her temper on like a disease of the blood. Okay? Until unavoidably she did. Okay? Unavoidably she did. And oh, it was rich. There was no end of the I told you so's. Okay, sentence 19 or age 19. She remembered many times trying to coax. Let's look up what the word coax, C-O-A-X. Many times to coax. All right, let's look up this word, C-O-A-X. Anybody know what that means? Thank you for your like and your subscribe. See, coax, C-O, cut, elemental P, B, coax. Where is coax? Coax. Dependent. Decade. Aluminum P, Q, R. Okay, coax. C-O. I'm seeing wolf here. Coyote. Covet. C-O. A. Now you gotta go over here for all the A's. C-O. A-X. Coach. Let's see, it's a good janitor. Cobra. Coaxial. Cable. It means cable. Okay, a coax. Okay, a wheedle. To gain by gently urging or flattery. So this is someone who's gently urging or trying to be flattering, okay, in some sort of way. I see there's a coach here. It's like a horse-drawn buggy. It's in between that and a seashell, all right? So she was trying to coax Margaret and Kenneth to smile. Now she's trying to convince them to smile, okay? With her vanity, all right? Okay, so this is like forcing someone to take a photograph and smile about it. Like you're happy about it, all right? So to gain by gently urging or flattery, having coincident axes, urging or flattery, having coincident axes. So someone they have the axe and they can chop it just to do it, okay? And they're going to take the photo just because they can do it, okay? A cable that consists of a tube of electrically conducting material surrounding a central conductor. Monies. Oh, how did I get this penny? Ooh, that's my lucky penny. Can't believe I almost lost that looking for this. Okay, so the electric cable. So let me tell y'all, this is how the transfer of energetic money happens, okay? So the year I got back, would you like to take the survey? of this. It would seem that this penny says 1661 on it when you look at it like that. Okay, it looks like the year 1661, but you have to slightly turn its head to see it's 1991. Okay, and then due time, just a few years back. Luckily, look what just popped out of my dictionary. My 1946 wheat penny. This is my wheat penny. I found it. So, ooh, 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 ooh. So, thank you. I'm shooting my bow and arrow into the star. I'm looking for, that deserves a Tootsie Pop. Let me go get my Tootsie Pop. 1 second. I am deserving. I earned this energetically. Okie dokie. So, I've got my head covering on. I've energetically have now rightfully so earned for my wheat penny, which this you can find along the cable lines anywhere, but you have to have the shooting star on one of these to make it count as currency. Okay, this is how the currency exchange, I have to keep that covered, works. So to understand this, can you cash one of these in if you find a star on it? You absolutely can. This counts as currency. If y'all did not know that, you do now. You can take any one of these to a convenience store if you have a star on it. And it seems as though Little Miss Moody Patootie does not have a star on. I just picked one. I just picked a random for today's theme, although a couple days ago I did have one with a star on it. I mean, you could count maybe these ones as a star, but this is the label for Little Miss Moody Patootie, today's theme, because this is my treat for answer my question. I mean, we can unwrap the wrappers. We could scavenge through all of this corners of the photograph, but she just simply did not get her star here. Okay, I don't see one that we could exchange this at the convenience store. May I have another Tootsie Pop? All right, you're good, you. All right, so that's how you do that, guys. And here's all the different depictions of the pictures and the emotions of childhood healing that you would have to go through to have earned the right to smile in this photograph that we're talking about. Where is my... Okay. Now, all right. I gotta keep my head covered. All right. So where were we? Okay, age 19. I told you so. All right, 19. And this is where I was having issues with I was discovering that the triangle to move up, you have to actually use the mouse to get the vision correct to one at a time. Okay, so go up, or to triangle down, you have to use the mouse clicker. Okay, and so the space in between is between the mother and the father. Okay, how much time and space you're spent there. So she remembered many times trying to deceitfully get Margaret and Kenneth to smile. Okay, so she's taking the photograph, trying to get them to smile. Kenneth had Henry's sweet nature. All right, so Kenneth had Henry's, I don't know who Henry is, sweet nature, but followed his big sister's lead. Okay, so this is someone who followed their big sister's lead on something. So as not to run a group portrait, So as not to embarrass her, age 20, those were here as well, the prime of their family. Life carefully documented in album after album. An editing job put off until the children had left, then attacked with commemorative devotion. The patent falseness of so many shots staged to mark an occasion only deepened the mystery of the past, its unhappiness dressed up, hidden, invisible to the camera. So it's invisible to the camera. You can't figure it out till years down the road. Now we have Emily addressing Kenneth and Margaret with a photograph. How does this make you feel? This gift, if you want it, you can have it. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. It's a gift. It's a branch. It's a vein. It is a portal. It's a frozen river now. If you don't want this frozen river, I understand. I'm just going every Christmas give you this photograph. So, okay. And it says, here's the question itself. It says, the first paragraph of the passage. Okay, so to get on this passage, the first passage suggests that Emily thinks her children's attitude toward their family history is A, negative because they grew, well, it doesn't say A, it's just a circle, but would you choose, it's negative because they grew up in an isolated town. So is it the town? Is it the community that's the problem? Because she did leave her hometown. Well, let's go back and look. So I'm going to read this again, 1 through 4 for you. So, as if to remind them of her own humble, gotta keep my face covered. As if to remind them of her own humble beginnings, every Christmas, Emily gave Margaret and Kenneth a framed picture of another forgotten branch of the family. And if these gifts were initially met with indifference, that was fine. So it was fine if it was met with any sort of indifference. Age 2, Emily had conceived of this as a long-term project. Okay, so she conceived of it and made it her long life's work. Okay, one that might take their entire lives to finally resonate it, as it had with her. She came to appreciate her curtsy upbringing like a lady. So she's a lady. So her ladylike upbringing only well after she'd fled town and made the long wished for. So now she has a long wish, a wish she's making. Okay. So what else was long-term project is now a long wished for transformation into a fashionable city. So now she's trying to turn the city to be very fashionable. I hope I'm making sense now. As a fashionable city dweller. So she's trying to fit in. Number 4, age 4, okay, or sentence 4. Not that her teenaged estimation, so teenaged is back here, not that her teenaged estimation of the place had been wrong. It was even worse now. A dying appellation, so it's frozen, so the town is frozen. A dying frozen river, but looking back, she saw that like Margaret, She'd been an ungrateful child, stubborn and arrogant, to no real purpose beyond her own vanity. So this is someone who left the town to be fashionable, to be vain, and now it's frozen in time and we can't get it back. So this estimation place had been wrong. So it says her teenage estimation of the place had been wrong. So it wasn't the place. The place wasn't wrong for her at all to be there, is what I'm understanding. So I don't assume that it would be negative because they grew up in an isolated town. All right. So the place wasn't wrong for her, but yet the vein has frozen up. So, okay, let's look at the answer number 2. All right, so 1 through 4 suggest that Emily thinks her children's attitude toward their family history is not negative because they grew up in an isolated town. The town was fine, it was thriving. She could have flourished there, whatever. The second answer would be strongly influenced by their father's opinions about family life. So that, I guess that would be Kenneth. So something was strongly influenced by her father's opinions about family life. Let's go back and read. Where does it speak about the father on here? The only place it speaks about a father on here is sentence 1, age 1. So this is like after conception or conceived. It says, as if to remind them of her own humble beginnings, every Christmas, Emily gave Margaret and Kenneth a framed picture of another forgotten branch of the family, as if these gifts were initially met with indifference. That was fun. So that's the only thing. That's the only part where it is speaking about the father, unless you go to sentence 2 where it's saying Emily had conceived, so this is something she conceived, she gave birth to it or whatever, conceived of this as a long-term project, and that might take their entire lives to finally resonate as it had with her. So, and then I guess sentence 3 too also would be a part of this. So she came to appreciate her Kersey upbringing. So the Kersey part would be her upbringing would be the mother and the father too as well. So 1, 2, and 3 do resonate for the father being a part of this answer. Only well after she'd fled the town and long wished for. Okay, so then that would go back to sentence 1. So that would redact itself to sentence 1. So I'm looking. Number 2 would probably be the correct answer because that's answering for 1, 2, and 3. Don't y'all think it would be that? I don't know. We'll keep that open there because that might be it. So, but Emily's attitude toward their family history would have to be with the father because the father's not really mentioned in it. It's substituted for using the words their and coaxed upbringing and so forth and so forth. So the verb or the verbiage of it would definitely points to the father, I think, but let's come back to that. Or C, currently uninterested but likely to change over time. Okay, let's see what time has to do with this. So, currently uninterested would be something that was forgotten. All right, so it was forgotten in sentence 1. What does this have to do with the time? All right, so it's a picture, it's time, it's a branch, it's forgotten about, family. And if the gifts were initially met with her indifference, that was fine. All right. So Emily had conceived this as a long-term project that might take their entire lives. I'm thinking it might be time now because time is mentioned time after time after time after time. So as it had with her, she came to appreciate her cursey upbringing only well after she fled the town and made the long wish for. So that is something you're longing for, you're wishing for it, but is that time? Is a wish time? I cannot say nor confirm nor deny. Hi, Paul Muni. So, for this transformation to happen, for her to be vain, for her to be fashionable, this is something that was long wished for, okay? Not that her teenage estimation of okay, so this is saying in her teenage years, not that her teenage estimation of the place had been wrong. It was even worse now, a dying Appalachian backwater, a dying frozen vein. But looking back in time, she saw that, like Margaret, she'd been an ungrateful child. And then she realizes this. So this is over the course of the years. So definitely has a lot to do with the course of the years. But does this have to do with the attitude toward their family history? Maybe. It may have something to do with the time. So currently uninterested, but likely to change over time. Does this first paragraph of the passage, 1 through 4, suggest that Emily thinks her children's attitude toward their family history is currently uninterested, but likely to change over time? Yes, C. I'm guessing I like C as an answer. Or we could just pick all the bells and whistles and say D, becoming rapidly more excited and enthusiastic. More to come, guys. I'm going to go with C. Does everybody agree that the answer to the question is C? Currently uninterested, but likely to change over time. That is more than likely the attitude toward their family history. Am I right, you guys? Do y'all think that that is the correct answer? So is it the town's fault? Why she's vain? Is it a strong influence by the father's opinions about family life? Or is it currently? So currently, yeah, that's currently. So the first paragraph of this passage, currently, suggests that Emily thinks her children's attitude towards their family history is currently. So looking back at it now, so that would be currently. So it's asking you to define the verbiage in it. So currently of time. Yeah, so it would definitely be currently. So that's interesting. Currently uninterested, but likely to change over the time. Yes, that is the right advice you would give somebody. Okay? And now we have becoming rapidly more excited and enthusiastic. I am going to pick C, final answer. For today's discussion, I earned this lollipop. Miss Moody Patootie and your thick eyebrows. Hi, kitty, 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 kitty. There's my kitty. I love my cat. She's inside the house, too. You want to see her? I'm going to flip the camera. Kitty, 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 kitty. There she is. What are you doing in here? You can't see her. Can you see her? She's blending with the couch. Now you see her. What are you doing, Kikis? Kitty, 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 kitty. Hey. She's so funny. kitty. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't talk to her like that. What are you doing? Kitty, kitty, kitty. I'm petting her, y'all. Pet my cat. You like that, kitty, kitty, kitty? Her like that. Oh. Oh. Let me get that for you. Oh. Get that itch for you. Yeah, get that. Oh. Feel better? Oh. Poor kitty. My kitty. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh. Get that itch for you. All right. All right. Now we have the answer that we were looking for today, guys. I'll go with C. Currently uninterested, but it's likely to change over time. All right. Good discussion. I'm glad y'all were able to join me tonight for this. So we have to figure out why the water is not getting through the river of this Appalachian backwater to this town, and that has frozen up. Is it because of her vanity? Is it because of her swagger? Because you know we got swagger, but does it come down to when you need something to drink from its river? All right. The river is frozen. We cannot drink from it. Is it her vanity that has stopped the currency of the water from coming through and able to fill your cup? Okay. I will see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. I got to go answer this, and I'm going to choose C unless someone else has another opinion about this. Okay? Like, share, subscribe. Have yourself a Miss Moody Patootie. Joke's on you. Miss Moody Patootie. Lollipop. All right. See you guys later. Like, share, subscribe to the video. See y'all tomorrow.